I am Martin Aseidu-Dartey. Let's bring you the headlines for the next 1 hour.
Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Speaker of Ghana's Parliament defers resumption of the House proceedings indefinitely. We will find out why and how this could impact government's business.
And also coming up tonight, Ashanti Region NPP Chairman Bernard Ejjubu-Esiako to be charged with mining-related offences as he appears in court tomorrow.
And the 1-month working period for board investigating the Z9 helicopter crash ends today.
Coming up in business news, Food and Beverages Association of Ghana urges efficiency first in ECG and asks President John Mahama to halt unconditional tariff hikes for 2025 to 2030.
And later in the bulletin, U.S. deports 10 people to Eswatini despite rights groups in the southern African state mounting a legal action to block the plan.
We have details of all these stories and many more coming up in the next 1 hour. Do stay with us.
We are starting from the House of Parliament because they were expected to resume, but there seemed to be a halt, and Parliament will no longer resume next week Tuesday because the Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, has postponed the upcoming meeting indefinitely. For reasons beyond his control, the Speaker says his initial notice for members to return to post on October 14 can no longer hold. A new date will be announced later.
This development comes at a time when the House was expected to consider key legislative and policy matters, including the presentation of the 2026 budget statement and economic policy. Estimates for ministries, departments and agencies would equally delay with no end in sight to the ongoing recess of the legislative body. When the House resumes, 2 new MPs on the majority side, including Bernard Bediako-Fakwitia and Professor Alidu Seidu for Tamale Central, would be sworn into office, and this is one keenly expected. Key bills and legislative instruments would make a return to the House for consideration, passage and adoption. Already, the Minority Caucus has called on the government to present the Memorandum of Understanding with the United States to accept third country deportees for ratification. Debates on the reduction in DSTV subscription rates have been on the front burner, with both sides taking aim at each other.
For this display of ineptitude, incompetence, and penchant for deceit, we of the minority demand that 1. The minister render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians for the waste of the nation's time and resources on this venture. We call on him to account for the fines levied on DSTV. We deem him unfit to continue as the minister for this strategic ministry of communication, digital technology, and innovation, and therefore call on him to resign or for His Excellency the President to fire him.
The majority does not see anything wrong with the ministers asking for a price reduction, which is not against the law. It is in this context that the current administration measure, including the reduction in DSTV subscription prices, should be viewed as part of a broader effort to reset and revitalize the sector. On the specific issue of DSTV pricing, the minister acted in the supreme interest of DSTV consumers in Ghana. There is nothing irregular about the minister's engagement with multi-choice, and there is absolutely no justification for the call on the minister to resign.
It is expected that a new date would soon be announced for the resumption of the third meeting of the first session of the 9th Parliament, with pressing issues at stake.
Right, so let's find out what exactly could be the Speaker's reason for postponing the resumption of Parliament. Let's go to the phone lines now and speak to Dr. Rashid Rahman, who is the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Doc, good evening and thank you for joining us on Zoom.
Good evening, Martin.
Right. So, I mean,
thank you for having me. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for joining us. To start with, what are your initial thoughts on this, that the Speaker of Parliament says that for reasons beyond his control? I mean, very few things could be beyond the control of the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, couldn't it? So why would he say for that reason he cannot convene Parliament?
Yes, indeed. Very few things could be beyond the control of the number 3 gentleman of our land. So when he says beyond his control, I believe these are very weighty matters, and we can only hazard some guesses because maybe the Speaker could have helped us by simply stating the reasons. But now that he didn't, some of the possible reasons could be perhaps there might be some issues that needed to be sorted out with the executive in terms of the legislative agenda. I know Parliament determines its calendar and so on, but we are in a dispensation where most of the bills come from the executive, number one, and that's in this particular case we have the big bill, which is the finance bill, which is the budget, and this is the meeting that takes the budget. So maybe there might be some discussions around that that are yet to be ironed out. There might be issues related to the fact that Parliament doesn't have money. The executive hasn't given Parliament money because the issue of the full independence of Parliament in terms of controlling its budget, I think, is an issue that is still not resolved. Over the years, in the 8th Parliament, we've seen how Speaker on many occasions clearly came out to say, give us, what we deserve and so on. And then there were some tense discussions between him and the government then, which is the government that he didn't belong to. There could be also reasons such as perhaps parliamentary delegations that require the participation of the leadership of Parliament. That could be maybe another reason. But however you look at it, Martin, I think this is, if I remember very well, this is one of the few postponement of the 3rd meeting, which is one of the most important meetings of our Parliament, because that is when the budget and economic policy will be considered, and that is also a meeting that the timelines are tight,
right? Because
you have to pass everything before Christmas so that the Appropriations Act could take effect January 1. So very difficult times, if I may say so.
Right, and Dr. Draman, I also would want to find out from you, what kind of impact could this have on government business? You give indications that when they said latest by end of December, they should be rising for the Christmas break. So that's a lot going to be packed into the short time they will be in Parliament. But how would that affect the executive and the running of the government business?
Well, certainly it would have a serious impact because we are in an economy that is very difficult right now. I think many people are complaining, contractors are complaining, even government departments and ministries are complaining. And many people are looking forward to this budget to bring some relief, and the resources will be released so that at least the fiscal kind of challenges in the economy would ease up a little bit.
Right.
If we don't have this sorted out, I guess we are going to be in more difficulties. So I think that's the first big impact that we might have if this issue is not resolved, and whatever it is, I don't know, but it requires some kind of dialogue between the executive and the legislature,
right?
So that this can be sorted out as soon as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Aseidu-Dartey, for making time to speak to us this evening. He is the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs.
And away from parliamentary affairs, 3 mining-related charges are expected to be preferred against the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Njubu-Iseko, also known as Chairman Wontumi. Expected to appear in court on Tuesday, October 7, Chairman Wontumi was granted bail in the sum of 1 million cedis with 2 sureties. This follows his appearance before the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service after a threat of arrest by the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine. There's more in this report.
The trial of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Njubu-Iseko, is set to begin on Tuesday, October 7, 2025. This follows his appearance before the CID on Monday, October 6, in compliance with the directive from the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine. Dr. Ayine had early on Friday, October 3, cautioned that the NPP regional chairman would be arrested if he failed to report to the CID, stressing that the charges against him had already been approved.
The charges against Chairman Wontumi, Akonta Mining, and 5 others have been signed as I speak. His lawyers asked that he should be brought on Tuesday, but I'm insisting that he should be here on Monday. If he doesn't come on Monday, I'm going to order for his arrest.
Lawyer for Chairman Wontumi, Andy Apiakubi, has described the Attorney General's comments about his client as distasteful.
It is incorrect to anybody to suggest that we have been lukewarm to the invitations from the Director General's office. I know that the Director General works for the Attorney General in terms of prosecution. So I consider the discourse between my good self or my office and the Director General's office as equally, by extension, to the Attorney General's office. But I want to express my disappointment in the warning that the refusal to defer the meeting. The warning was that it should Chairman Wontumi fail to appear, he will order the arrest of Chairman Wontumi and brought to Accra. Indeed, we don't need to unnecessarily increase the political temperature in the country, and we have responded to all invitations, all.
Speaking after the engagement with the CID, Andy Apiakubi commended the professionalism of the police service and said his team was fully prepared for Tuesday's court appearance.
Let us also congratulate the police system for being so professional in the discharge of their responsibility. We also take this opportunity to congratulate the Attorney General who has facilitated all this. We will see you in court tomorrow. We are not supposed to prove innocence. Our job is to allow prosecution to finish, and then we will come in with our response. Could be submission of no case, could be a defense to the allegations.
Chairman Wontumi is facing charges linked to alleged illegal mining activities involving Akonta Mining Limited, a company reportedly associated with him.
The former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame has done nothing untoward to merit the charges brought against him and will, in the end, be vindicated. Those are the words of former Deputy Attorney General Alfred Yeboah, who also alleged that the charges against his former boss are being politically motivated. Noble Crosby Annan reports.
The former Attorney General Godfred Dame reported to the Criminal Investigations Department to assist with investigations following a formal petition filed against him. The petition was submitted by Richard Jakpa, Director of Special Operations at the National Security Secretariat. Jakpa, who was a key figure in the ambulance procurement case involving Finance Minister Dr. Toforsing, is calling for a probe into alleged misconduct and what he describes as attempted fabrication of evidence. Responding to the allegations against his former boss, former Deputy Attorney General described all allegations against Godfred Dame as politically motivated.
Purely political, and I think it's also coming out of dislike for Godfred Dame. The complainant in this particular case, he knows deep down his heart that this matter would have arisen if he had not gone to see one of his relatives, the Supreme Court judge, to speak to Godfred Dame. And so he knows that Dame is innocent, but he still wants to press it. We are ready for him. Godfred is ready for him.
According to him, Godfred Dame is innocent of all the allegations.
The former AG in his office as the AG discharged his duties with all diligence. I was his deputy. And I can state without any equivocation that he has done nothing untoward to merit this kind of charge that has been brought against him. But at the end of the day, truth will stand. Truth will stand. Godfred will be vindicated.
Another leading MPP lawyer, Frank Davis, who also accompanied Godfred Dame, questioned why the matter had resurfaced despite a judicial pronouncement on the same issue.
A matter which has received judicial pronouncement. This is the first time we are hearing it. What is like that? 6 complaints has been made already. It has received a judicial pronouncement. So what? And what is it not obvious to you? Is it not obvious what the petitions are? So, guys, I need no say.
Meanwhile, tension briefly flared outside the CID headquarters when some supporters of Godfred Dame clashed with police officers who tried to disperse them from the compound.
In more news tonight, October 6, 2025 marks the deadline for the investigative board tasked by the Ministry of Defense to present its report on the helicopter crash which occurred on August 6, 2025. The Ghana Air Force Harbin Z9 helicopter carrying 8 people, including high-ranking government officials and military personnel, went off the radar shortly after departing from Accra. The wreckage was later found in a forested area with all on board killed and in the impacts and subsequent fire. Here's a report by Judith Brown.
October 6, 2025 marks the deadline for the investigative board to submit its report on the August 6, 2025 Z9 military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 people, including Defense Minister Edward Omanibuama and Environment Minister Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Of the board chaired by the National Security Coordinator was formed by the Ministry of Defense to investigate the incident and comprised of members from the Ghana Air Force and the Ghana Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. Now, with the support of the United States Air Force investigators providing technical advice and assistance, the board began its work on August 25, 2025 and was given 30 days to complete its investigation. A preliminary investigation team was formed on the day of the crash to collect evidence, and their report was submitted to the board. The investigation involves analyzing the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, also known as a black box, which was recovered from the crash site. The board's primary objectives are to determine the cause of the crash, identify contributing factors, and recommend measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. Now, while the investigation is crucial in providing closure to the families of the victims, it's also very helpful in ensuring that such incidents do not recur. As the nation waits with bated breath, it remains to be seen whether the board will meet the deadline and submit its report today. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Let's now turn our attention to cocoa, because despite a recent increase in Ghana's cocoa price to 3,625 cedis per bag, La Côte d'Ivoire has moved ahead again, setting its price at 4,040 cedis per bag, about 415 more in cedi value. The growing gap has raised concerns about cross-border smuggling, as Ghana also faces falling yields and a pricing system linked to the US dollar, which seems to favor farmers more when the cedi is weak than when it is strong. Experts say the difference shows the rising pressure on Ghana's cocoa sector and the need to act quickly to protect farmers. Today, we take a closer look at the figures, the policies, and what they mean for Ghana's cocoa industry. And joining me in the studio is Martin Aseidu-Dartey with more on this, Martin.
Yes, certainly. It's a major conversation because cocoa is a pivotal component of our economy. And talking about the numbers, you are right that the finance minister a few days ago, somewhere last week, gave indications that we Ghana, had increased our cocoa prices, or how much we are buying it per bag from the farmer, to 3,625. Many were excited about it, but not the cocoa farmers. And their reason is that neighboring Côte d'Ivoire is selling or buying a bag from the cocoa farmers at 4,040 Ghana cedis. Now, that's a difference of about 415 Ghana cedis. So the finance minister that day said that now every cocoa farmer, was going to earn 400 Ghana cedis more per bag of cocoa when they sell it to government. And clearly, there is a 15 Ghana cedi difference between what Ghana is selling and what Cote d'Ivoire is selling to or buying from their farmers. The major reason, like you indicated, is that we want to curb smuggling, where people wouldn't be interested in sending their cocoa from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire to sell there because the pricing is slightly better in that country. But why is it so? Why is government or Ghana struggling to appease the farmers? Some of the cocoa farmer associations we spoke to said that they were expecting about 5,000 Ghana cedis, per bag from government. But government says we are staying currently at 4,300 and a little above that. Our cocoa has been priced against the US dollar. Why? Because on the international market, cocoa is sold and bought with dollar. And it tells you an interesting story about the performance of the Ghana cedi. So we sell our cocoa on the international market in dollars, bring in the dollar, and then pay the farmers in cedis. So if the cedi is weaker against the dollar, it means that we get more dollars into the country. But that in itself has an impact on the currency, the local currency. So although the cedi is getting stronger against the US dollar, it tells us that the amount that the farmer will get will be slightly less. If the cedi was weaker, where here you're selling a cedi for 16 Ghana cedis, that was a few months ago, then it meant that the farmers were likely to get about 5,000 Ghana cedis per bag, 5,000 and more. But now they're getting 3,000 because the cedi has appreciated against the dollar. So whereas as a country, our economy, we hope that our cedi is stronger, well, some individuals or some groupings like the cocoa farmers would have preferred that the dollar is, or the cedi is weaker so that they can get a bit more from that. So that's one of the major challenges. And if you look at the trajectory of how we have sold our cocoa on the international market, it has seen an upward rise, especially from 2023 season up until now, the 2025-2026 season. So it has just basically been 400 cedis per bag, straight down up to 2019-2020, where it went to 515, then 560. Then when it comes to 2023-2024, we started seeing it in the thousands. So we had our first bag of 1,308 Ghana cedis, and then now we are looking at 3,625. So there has been a good appreciation between 2024 and 2025-26 season, which is good. But there is another challenge. It looks as though a number of countries are also growing and producing cocoa. And that is where we need to be concerned, because Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have dominated global cocoa sale. I mean, about 60% of the global cocoa export has been from these two countries. So we have dominated that space for some time now. But these countries have also started producing cocoa in mass quantity. So it is weakening our bargaining chip here as a country, or as West African countries. So countries like Peru, China, Ecuador, the Dominican Republic are all producing cocoa and are saturating the market, the cocoa market. So it means that Ghana needs to do more, especially when issues of galamsey is frustrating our cocoa sale and farmers are selling out their farms. So that conversation needs to go on. That's why we thought that it's good to bring this conversation of cocoa, which is a major part of our economy, for us to have a conversation on. Back to you, Portia.
Thank you so much, Martin. Interesting conversation. We need to do more. Already, we risk losing our second spot as a producer of cocoa. Let's now go to the Upper East region, and the municipal chief executive of Bawku has appealed for a ceasefire in the area, urging residents to allow peace to return. The MCE says the prolonged conflict will negatively affect development. My colleague Castro Sanyala has more in this report.
A few years ago, Bawku was the business powerhouse of the Upper East region with brisk economic activity. The town was a preferred destination for trade, attracting people from across the country and neighboring countries to buy and sell. As one of the most densely populated municipalities in the Upper East region, Bawku generated significant revenue through taxes. But since the resurgence of the tribal chieftaincy conflict in 2021, the once vibrant town has slowly lost its former glory. Government and state security agencies have been working tirelessly to to restore peace in the area through engagements with the factions, collaborations with traditional authorities, and the enforcement of curfews. The municipal chief executive, Isaac Azonaba, says the conflict has had a serious impact on development in Boko. He is calling for an immediate ceasefire.
What I want to appeal to my people is that though our situation still is a challenging one for us, but I know very well that we'll put the guns aside. My people should give peace a chance, put the guns aside, we should put our differences aside, and then take up this cleaning exercise.
For the municipal chief executive, achieving lasting peace and driving development in Boko while maintaining a clean environment remains his top priorities.
At the end of this year, I'm confident that we'll be the first municipality to be adjudged the best municipality in terms of cleanliness.
The National Sanitation Day aims to promote cleanliness in Ghanaian communities and reduce the spread of diseases. In Boko, residents want the exercise to go beyond cleanliness. They hope it becomes a symbol of unity and togetherness.
I will also use it as an opportunity to call for peace. In fact, next month, my prayer is that Mamprises and Kusases will come together to have a clean-up exercise as we are doing today.
Some other stories we have for you this evening are minors who received their Ghana cards effective today, October 6, are now eligible to engage in transactions with their personal biodata rather than through third parties. More than 350,000 Ghana cards of children aged between 6 and 14 are being issued by the National Identification Authority, taking place in 56 districts across the country. George Queening visited some of these centers and reports.
Effective October 6, the National Identification Authority, NIA, is issuing Ghana cards to more than 350,000 minors. 11-year-olds Blessing Dede Adinam Agbo and Precious Kwatima Frimpong are part of the lucky recipients. As students of the lab Bethel cluster of schools, they registered for their Ghana cards when they were in primary 6 and now in JHS 1. They just could not hide the excitement in the acquisition of the ECOWAS identity card.
How do you feel knowing that you're going to be an owner of a Ghana card?
Because I have a tablet, and when I get a Ghana card, I can go and register my SIM. I can use my tablet to search my homework, and I can do things I want to do on the phone. Yes, that's why I'm happy.
So how do you also feel?
I feel excited to finally have a Ghana card. We have been waiting to have a Ghana card, and now we are finally having it. And I'm happy because having a Ghana card means that I'm a Ghanaian. So I'm now a fully Ghanaian, like officially. So I'm very, very happy.
So I spoke to a colleague of yours. He said he did the Ghana card. He registered when he was in class 6, and now it's in Form 1. Is it the same? Does that apply to you?
Yes.
It was too long, or?
Yes, that's why we are now happy. That's why I'm very, very happy.
I feel happy because if you are traveling, like you are going to Togo, you are going to cross the border, they'll be asking you for Ghana card, so you can use it. You can use it to, like, for SIM cards.
Here at the La Bethel and Salem cluster of schools, the Ghana cards are sealed in envelopes and later handed to the headmaster for onward distribution to parents of these applicants. The authority fears the student might misplace the cards.
Here at this very center, as at 12:05 p.m., 5 cards of these minors had been issued. So 100 both centers. So hopefully on a daily basis, 200 cards will be issued according to the NIA.
At the Registrar General's department, the exercise did not take place, but rather the day was used to set up. Issuance of the cards will be made at the Manche Takiteria, the first cluster of schools at Adabraka. In 2024, NIA commenced the registration of children between 6 and 14 years in 168 districts. The registration suffered technical glitches, compelling the authority to put it on hold. As at the time the registration was put on hold, the authority had registered about 377,000 minors. This backlog is what is being cleared to pave way for new registrations, which the authority says will be communicated to the public in due course. George Queening, TV3 News, Accra.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Business, sports, entertainment, all coming up, so do stay with us.
Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, has raised concerns over unusual high fuel sales volumes reported by some of its members. A development, it says, is depriving consumers of millions of cedis paid into the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF. According to the chamber, certain oil marketing companies are recording sales figures that surpass those of market leaders, despite operating fewer than 20 service stations compared to over 200 outlets run by top-tier firms. While fuel prices around the world often vary depending on the distance between depots and retail outlets, Ghana maintains uniform pricing nationwide through the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund. The UPPF ensures equitable distribution by incorporating actual transport costs into retail prices and streamlining delivery across all regions. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, COMAC Chairman Gabriel Kumi said the trend raises serious concerns about operational integrity within the sector.
The fund pays you the difference from Kumasi to, let's say, Wa or to Techima or to Boga. But if you go to, let's say, Nkoko, you will have to pay into the fund. So people have taken advantage of that, lift products in Accra, and then post it to WA so that they can claim money from the fund. That is our suspicion, because that growth is impossible.
He called on regulators to investigate the anomalies and take swift action to restore credibility to Ghana's petroleum downstream industry.
We trust in the ability of my brother Eduji. He has done so well so far, but he cannot be described by industry as a good chief executive if he does not deal with the problems in this report. Because this problem affects about 95% of our members. So if we are not able to deal with a problem that affects 95% of our members, we cannot sit here and praise the regulator.
The Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, is urging President John Mahama to halt any unconditional approval of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG's proposed tariff increases for the 2025-2030 period. The associations plan to petition the president in the coming days, and the core message is clear: efficiency before tariffs.
The Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, argues that raising utility prices without first addressing ECG's crippling internal inefficiencies amounts to forcing Ghanaians to subsidize waste, theft and corruption. At a media briefing, Chairman of FABAG, Reverend John Awuni, noted the petition will highlight alarming performance indicators that it claims undermine the case for a tariff hike. FABAG emphasizes that only strong presidential leadership can overcome the entrenched vested interests that profit from electricity theft and corruption, citing successful utility reform models in countries like Uganda and India.
How can tariff ever solve their problems? But no matter the amount of tariffs that is put on it, that is increased, it will continue to be like we are pouring water in a basket. That basket will never get full. And that is what has happened over the years.
President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Joseph Obeng, in a solidarity message noted that high electricity tariffs are making Ghanaian businesses uncompetitive.
How can we say we want to industrialize and we don't know the effects of high cost of utilities, especially the electricity cost? ECD needs a serious reforms because we think that we pay economic price already. What is eating up is the inefficiency and corruptible practices of ECD. It's as simple as that.
President of the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association, Ebo Botri, expressed worry that many companies plan to relocate to neighboring countries where tariffs are lower.
If government is talking about come next year is going to escalate the utilities to hundreds, then definitely we'll have to probably relocate to Burkina or Togo or Cote d'Ivoire, produce and then ship to Ghana.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. The Black Stars team have completed their first group training session ahead of their 2026 World Cup qualifiers tie against Central African Republic in Morocco. Michael Otieje is stationed with the team currently and provides all the updates.
It's been a long day of hanging around the hotel lobby of the Grand Mogada Hotel where the Black Stars are staying and waiting. But at the moment, happy to report that I think all but one player has arrived. I think that's Jonas Adejete, who will come in early, a bit later. But earlier today, we saw the likes of Thomas Partey come in. We saw Jerome Opoku. Aseidu is back in the team after missing about 6 months through injury. He walked through beaming with smiles and ready to contribute his bit. So Coach Otoado has the full set of his team. He is out at training with them. They had their first full training session this evening, a session that he hopes will make his team sharper, better, more focused than they were the last time they played in Morocco against Chad. The Black Stars coach has been keen to focus his players on what he considers the crucial job of focusing on the game against Central African Republic. I do remember I always said that too many times, too many of us, the rest of us, consider that games are won even before they are played. And he's been keen to keep the atmosphere in camp in a manner where the players can focus on that. But he's got a set of players in camp who are having quite the season. Antoine Semenyo, Brandon Thomas Asante, Mohamed Kudus, all of them have had really good forms at club level. And he, like many members of the team, will be hoping that they will get it right this time. It's fairly simple for Ghana. Win, hope Madagascar doesn't win, and a place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup will be there for Ghana's taking.
We'll continue to bring you updates ahead of the game on Wednesday. But let's come back to Ghana, where the 2025-2026 Ghana Premier League Match Day 4 ended with Accra Heart of Oak maintaining their unbeaten run after drawing blank with Bechem United at the Portia Gabor Park. Meanwhile, Asante Kotoko shared the spoils with Heart of Lions. 3 Sports Mutala Yakubu put together more in this following report.
The weekend kicked off. It was an intense battle.
Well, we do apologize for the technical difficulties there, but let's do some more stories here on the sports segment on News 360, where the Under-20 World Cup has entered its business end, with 3 of the 4 participating African nations making it to the last 16 of the competition. Reigning Under-20 AFCON champions South Africa will face Colombia, while Morocco take on South Korea. Nigeria, on the other hand, will do battle with Argentina. There's more details in the following report.
Africa's 4 representatives, namely Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa, have booked their spot in the round of 16 at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile after a thrilling conclusion to their group phase on Sunday night. Only Egypt missed out narrowly, despite their spirited 2-1 win over host Chile in Santiago. Morocco, on the other hand, were the standout African team, topping Group C with 2 impressive victories against Spain and Brazil before a narrow defeat to Mexico. The Atlas Caps will now face Korea Republic on Thursday in the last 16. Meanwhile, Nigeria advanced as one of the best third-place teams after a battling 1-0 draw with Colombia in Tauca. The Flying Eagles had earlier edged Saudi Arabia 3-2 in a dramatic group clash and will now face Argentina in Santiago, a repeat of their memorable encounters in past youth tournaments. For South Africa, it has been a breakthrough campaign. The reigning African Under-20 champions sealed their qualification with a 2-1 win over the United States of America, their second victory of the tournament after hammering New Caledonia by 5-0. The result sends them into a tough last 16 clash against Colombia on Wednesday.
Well, you can get some more details on our social media handles at 3 Sports. GH, my name is Oreku Ampofo, and that's all for the sports segment here on News 360.
And welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Doko. Now, Central Region's representative Aseidu and Yeli from the Bono region became the last two contestants to be evicted from the 2025 Ghana's Most Beautiful competition as they failed to amass the right amount of votes for survival. Now, their last-minute eviction leaves 5 fired-up contenders to battle it out for the GMB crown as the show climaxes on Sunday, October 19. The night was charged with anxiety and uncertainty as each queen fought to secure a coveted spot in the top 5 for the grand finale on October 19. Contestants showcased their storytelling prowess, sharing tales passed down through generations, stories that embody cultural resilience, heritage, and timeless lessons.
And a child Yakwai was arrested by the British.
You may change my body, but my spirit belongs to the golden stool.
What is that? She's trusted. She's royal. Through her, peace may be found.
Ajoko, representing the Greater Accra region, recounted along an arduous migration of the Ga people led by the legendary Ni Ayikushi. Asakia brought to life the tale of Awugbo, the legendary hunter who journeyed far in search of fertile land for his people. Nana recounted the epic migration of the Bono people under the leadership of Nana Tichifri from the sacred caves of Amuri. After a thrilling night of rich and insightful storytelling, it was time for the heartbreaking moment, eviction. The eviction sword fell once again, this time on Aseidu representing the Central region and Yeli from the Bono region. Despite their compelling performances, the two failed to secure enough votes to advance to the grand finale.
But let's give it up for Yeli and Aseidu, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they have represented so well.
Self-actualization level. I'm so much fulfilled. I am ecstatic about the journey. I've learned a lot, and I'm going to keep my head high. But I'm so happy. I don't know how to even express myself because I had people coming in to support me when I didn't know that they could go all the extent of being that committed to me. I've got people coming in, showing me love, even acting on the stage with me. And that love, I hold it in high esteem.
This is the black stool of Akwamu and the beginning.
I came, I saw, and I conquered. Here I am today. Although this is the end, but then not the end for my destiny. Thank you so much for the love, for the support. I love you so, so, so much. Yeli Damwase.
We're wishing them the very best. And also some more stories. The Recording Academy, organizers of the prestigious Grammy Awards, has officially named Richie Mensah as a voting member. Now, this remarkable milestone not only underscores Richie's influence and contributions to the global music landscape, but also strengthens Ghana's presence on the international stage. And that'll be it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. Coming up, international news.
The US has deported 10 people to Eswatini despite rights group in the southern African state mounting legal action to block the plan. This is the second batch of deportees that the Trump administration has sent to Eswatini as part of its hardline approach towards immigration. The 10 people have been securely accommodated and posed to threats to the public, Eswatini's prison department said in a statement. Eswatini human rights lawyer Nzwantile Masuku told the BBC he was shocked and dismayed that.
And that's it for our package this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Aseidu-Dartey. And mind you, at 9 p.m. Is it 9 p.m.? 9
Yes,
p.m.
9
9 p.m. Sports Station will be live on your screen. So do make a date with the team.
And do join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.